God was going to take down the Clintons, and he's also going to take down Obama as well. Obama was going to be ripped and stripped of the presidency. Now, a lot of people thought that was going to be him being impeached, and that's not what I sensed the Lord was saying. It was going to be after he was out of office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison for this. And he was out of office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison for this, and in which case he would be stripped of all title of the presidency. Office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison for this. And it's going to be after he was out of office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison for this, and in which case he would be stripped of all title of the presidency. It's going to be after he was out of office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison for this, and in which case he would be stripped of all title of the presidency. And I believe that's what you're going to see happen at this point. I wrote another one about a month later called Time is Up for Those Who Are Corrupt. And it talks about judges, senators, congressmen, and women of all kinds, even at the local, state, and federal levels. Even the Supreme Court is not immune from the corrupt and evil ways, that God was going to expose them and basically remove them. Now, God's using Donald Trump to do this. He's using the Trump administration to do this. We're seeing this take place right now with these thousands of indictments that are going across right now. And here's the interesting thing I want to say, Steve, concerning the Supreme Court again. It didn't even dawn on me when I prophesied that 3 would be caught in a scandal as far as the Supreme Court justices were concerned. It didn't even dawn on me. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago, I was waking up and I heard the Lord say, Mark, what if these 3 Supreme Court justices are part of these indictments? And I went, oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. It didn't even dawn on me. So there is corruption on that court. So God's going to expose that corruption, and sooner or later, these guys are going to be dealt with. So you're seeing the corrupt right now. Divine justice is being poured out upon the earth. It's not coming, it's here. It's not America that's under judgment. It's the systems that are under judgment. It's the leadership. It's the church. You know, judgment starts in the house of the Lord, the Bible says. It is the leadership of the house of God right now that is under judgment, as well as the leadership of this country and worldwide. This is not just a battle for America. This is a battle for the entire earth right now. This is going to spread worldwide, basically, what we're seeing taking place right now. The other thing we talked about was the Roe versus Wade. October 19th, 2016, I wrote a prophecy called Full Circle. And it talked about how Russia and the United States would unite and take on that Fourth Reich called ISIS. Now, the Fourth Reich called ISIS basically is kind of an extension of the Third Reich, if you will. The New World Order rose its ugly head in World War I. They did it again in World War II. They're doing it again now, and they're using ISIS instead of the Nazis, basically, to do their dirty work. And the Lord is saying that the United States would come in from the west with her allies. Russia would come in from the east, just like in World War II. They would take on this entity called ISIS, and they would be wiped out. Now, we just saw that, how in Syria and in all these other places right now, that ISIS is pretty much almost completely gone. And they're not completely gone yet, but I think they have like about 1,000 left. I can't remember what the numbers were, but it was staggering about the fact that the media is not even talking about the fact that ISIS is almost completely wiped out. So there's one that was written in 2016 in October that the Lord has already taken care of.
What else are you seeing in the future, maybe even that isn't in the book?
I'm working on one right now that's an extension of the one that I wrote that's in the book called Energy, where America and Israel will be energy independent. This is something that's very critical right now, is that America will become energy independent, so will Israel. They will be the biggest energy producers in the world. Now, in the prophecy, energy, I talked about how OPEC would be gone away with, these OPEC nations that have been using their monies to fund terrorism worldwide. Those nations would be dealt with in the sense that their wells would go dry and their finances too. And they would have to come to us, the red, white, and blue, basically, to get their oil. So we will no longer be an import nation. We would be an export nation, and the debt would go away because of this. Now, something interesting happened because someone sent me a clip of Fox News when President Trump went to Saudi Arabia on his first trip right after he got inaugurated. They had this huge arms deal. Nobody could figure out why Saudi Arabia was doing this huge arms deal with America. Well, come to find out, their wells are about to go dry. When I heard that, my mouth just hit the floor. These countries over there, they don't understand. Their wells are about to go dry, and so are their finances. So they had to buy these arms while they had the finances to do so. But this thing's going to get bigger and bigger. This energy boom is going to explode in the United States. And here's what people don't understand. I've been talking to some oil people, Steve, and they're saying right now that all these rigs that were sent off to other countries, like down in Brazil, South America, whatever the case may be, are now picking up their drilling equipment, and they're coming back to the United States right now as we speak. Because, you know, he's released the permitting for the Gulf. He's released the permitting off the coast of California. He's opened up Anwar. This is going to be a huge deal in America because it's going to help us get debt-free. Now, one of the other things that God has been showing me has to do with the X5 presidents. Now, what do they have to do with all of this? Well, they have been a sign as to what America has been under, this covenant that we've had with Baal all these years, these 5 ex-presidents. Now, the Lord started dealing with me with these 5 ex-presidents about a week before they did that Hurricane Harvey relief effort. And the Lord told me, he says, 2 will be taken and 3 will be shaken out of these 5 ex-presidents. In other words, God's going to remove 2 of them from the face of the earth, and it's going to be a sign. And he says, I want you to go back, and I want you to see how many years these guys served in office. Well, it was 32 years total that these guys served. Well, 32 is usually the number for covenant. And he said, that covenant with Baal is going to be broken over this nation that these guys have had, that they've locked this country into, so to speak. So 2 will be taken, 3 will be shaken. Now, the 2 that will be taken, 1 will be a sign that the New World Order will die. The other one will be a sign that anyone who comes against Israel and calls himself a Christian will not be tolerated, period. The 3, which will be Bush 43, Clinton, and Obama. Obama will go to jail, and I believe Clinton will also possibly go to jail. Bush will be very close to going to prison. Because when people find out what the Bushes have been into, and it will be exposed, this whole corruption thing, Stephen, is just so massive. You know, the Lord started telling me about a month before Donald Trump got elected that there would be military tribunals that are coming to the United States. And these military tribunals will make Nuremberg look like a cakewalk. So when people talk about the corruption that's going on with these indictments right now, the length, the depth, the width of this thing is mind-boggling. It's global. So these things are going to be going on for years. So I've been telling people, put your seatbelts on. This is going to be a wild ride with these tribunals. But the ex-presidents, it'll be a sign that that covenant with Baal will be broken over this nation. So that 32-year covenant that they've had with this entity right now. And the abortion has a lot to do with that, which is another reason why God's bringing the Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned. Because with the abortion issue, what people don't understand about Baal is Baal is an it. It's a very violent entity, and it feeds off the blood of the innocent. So the abortion issue has empowered that strong man over America called Baal. And when that has been broken, you know, the food source for Baal is the abortion issue. So that's going to get broken off of America.